Let me fucking scoot back a little so I don't punch the microphone.
Hey, come listen to our podcast, yeah. Please listen, it's a hitch. If you don't listen to our podcast, yeah, then you are a bitch.
Maybe that one.
Welcome, everyone, to the latest episode of Filmoscopy Podcast, where today
you almost forget the name of the podcast for a moment.
Today we are doing something a little bit different. I think this is the first time that we are discussing something that isn't a movie, but instead technically qualifies as a mini-series, even though it's two parts and has now been basically edited together into one 3-hour film.
Let me tell you something. It's like watching the Ten Commandments, but it was on one VHS tape.
Man, this movie, it drags a little bit in parts, but we'll get to it. Joining me, as always, is Lance.
Hello.
And Owen.
Hello.
A couple of small details about the production of of this before we jump into like our thoughts and feelings and opinions. I'm sorry.
Tommy Lee Wallace directed it.
Yes, that's actually one of the things I was going to bring up, which he is the director of one of my favorite Halloween films,
Halloween 2.
3.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, really?
I really can't count, you know. No, he was also part of the production team off of Halloween. He's worked with John Carpenter a lot. Like him and John Carpenter were boys. And John Carpenter's the one that originally suggested Tommy Lee was going to be the one to direct Halloween 2. Tommy got the script, was like, I don't want to do this. This kind of sucks. And when Halloween 3 came around, you know, they asked Tommy to do it again, and Tommy did it because he was, intrigued with doing a new story. But yeah, so that's my knowledge of Tommy off the top of my head. I'm not looking everything up. His wife is actually, Cody hasn't watched all of these movies, so we're going to get into those next year. But a woman who plays a nurse in the first Halloween movie, she shows up in Halloween 2, shows back up in Halloween H2O, gets killed, and then in Halloween Kills, she shows back up since it's a different timeline technically. But that actress was Tommy's wife at the time as well. So No, I was wrong. Holy shit, no. So the chick who played Nancy in the first Halloween movie who gets killed in the car, and she also plays the mom, the ex-wife in Halloween 3, is Tommy Lee Wallace's ex-wife. So, that other chick I was talking about is actually married to Rick Rosenthal, the director of Halloween 2 and Halloween Resurrection, the best two entries. That may be a half a lie, I don't know. So yeah, that's my little knowledge dump there. I apologize.
So yeah, you're right though about the actors. There are a few recognizable faces. There's a name I recognize, but I'm not really familiar with them in anything other than this. But John Ritter, who plays,
he was in Three's Company, and he was also the mall manager in Bad Santa. If you had seen that movie.
Yeah, I've seen Bad Santa. It was a long time ago, and I don't really remember anybody except for Billy Bob Thornton.
His son, we covered a movie his son was in. His son was your favorite actor in Freddy vs. Jason. Your dad killed your mom, a smiley face. So that's his son. So that's his son, John Ritter. Oh wait, what's this guy's name?
John Ritter's the dad. John Ritter's adult Ben in this.
Okay, yeah, so John Ritter. So I can't remember his son's name. But so John Ritter was a star of a sitcom, Three's Company, from the 70s into the 80s. And, I watched it on Nick at Night a lot growing up. I always thought it was a fun show. Yeah, and then there's another guy who had a run on a sitcom that we'll talk about who plays the comedian again. I can't remember his name. Yeah. So John Ritter, R.I.P. He passed away in 2003.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was cool. When I saw him, I'm like, holy shit, that's cool as hell.
Annette O'Toole is in this. which she plays Martha. Well, in this she's Beverly, adult Beverly, but she also plays Martha in Smallville, Clark Kent's mom, and
Okay.
she also plays a character in Superman 3. I can't remember the name's like Kathy or something like that. Um, I think isn't she? I don't know how familiar either of you are with Superman 3, but I think that she's like the no, she's like the old small town romance or whatever that Superman has because he goes back to Smallville and for like a reunion or something like that, and she's like his old high school girlfriend if I remember right. But I could be mistaken. I think that's correct though.
It might be. I couldn't tell you, man, on that. I had
Um,
seen Superman 1, parts of 2, and I watched Superman 4 as a kid.
Superman 3 is the one
And
with gosh, who's that? What's the comedian's name?
Richard Pryor.
Yeah, Richard Pryor. Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
think I'm right. I think she plays Clark's like high school romance or whatever. So, um, the other actor that I'm familiar with offhand, without like digging too deep into who played what and whatever, is Seth Green, who plays Richie, Kid Richie. And I think most people today would know Seth Green as the voice of Chris Griffin on Family Guy.
And
And
co-creator of Robot Chicken.
yes, and then but back in the 80s and 90s, he was in quite a few movies, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah, he's also the son in Austin Powers for Doctor Evil's son.
Right, yeah, he is. Yeah,
Um,
Dr. Evil's son.
I'm looking at it because I couldn't remember his name. Richard Thomas is the main actor of this movie. He plays Bill. His biggest claim to fame was being the star of The Waltons. And I've never really watched. My dad used to watch The Waltons, I guess, as a kid, and I've watched a few episodes. I recognize his face. I'm like, who in the fuck is that guy? And I looked it up. I'm like, oh, it's a dude from The Waltons. Okay, so yeah, he's there. Let me do a quick shout to two more actors that I recognize. Um, Harry Anderson plays adult Richie, and he had a small bit role on a sitcom that's near and dear to my heart, Cheers. And he played a swindle artist. Like he would do like tricks and like pickpocket people and stuff like that. He's really funny, but he also had a starring role in a show called Night Court in the early '90s, and he was the judge in that show. And that show ran, I believe, like at least 5 seasons. So he had a TV career. A lot of these people had TV careers.
Yeah, I
Bill's
kind of figured.
wife. Bill's wife is played by Olivia Hussey, with that little tight pussy. Um, sorry. Anyway, she played Norman's mother in a movie we will eventually cover, Psycho 4, which was a made-for-TV movie for HBO. I think it was HBO. Maybe it was for a young Cinemax at the time. I can't remember. It came out in '92. It's one of Anthony Perkins' last roles, and it was like a movie set after Psycho 3. It kind of ignores the events of Psycho 2 and 3, but not really. And then it has the prequel events mixed in with the movie. But she plays young Norma Bates, and she does a great job. So I recognize her, and this movie came out 2 years before that. So she didn't change much. Was there anybody else? I was like, oh yeah. So the guy who played Stan,
Adult Stan, the
holy
young
shit, that's
Stan.
him. Adult Stan. Hold on. If I'm not mistaken,
Stand by me.
he. Yeah, I knew it. So he plays a character named Clark in The Thing. Cody, he's the guy with the big bushy beard that takes care of the dogs, and that they
Oh.
think is the alien. And then that's the one that fucking Kurt Russell shoots between the eyes, and then you find out he wasn't an alien.
Mm.
Yeah.
But that's him. I recognized his face. I'm like, who is that dude? And then I heard his voice. I'm like, okay, he sounds familiar. He's played in a lot of other things. He usually plays like a bad guy and shit like that, but he was in that movie.
Gotcha.
That was another little tie-in.
Uh,
Tie-in to John Carpenter
yeah.
because you
Um,
know.
so let's go over our prior experiences with this movie. I think, if I'm right, Owen, this is your first time ever seeing this.
No, I've seen this before, in patches
Okay.
and stuff.
This is your first time ever seeing it just all the way through.
I want to say so.
Okay. What are your general feelings about your overall feelings about this movie?
You know what? I actually, I think it was enjoyable enough. Surprisingly, I feel like Stephen King's, film or any kind of mostly his film productions can kind of be stinkers. We've done one before on the podcast. We did Maximum Overdrive, um, which might be a little unfair.
The spiritual sequel to Duel, you mean?
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of them kind of end up coming out a little bit like that. The more I think King gets involved, but I think that it has I know we're not really going to talk about the novel, but the basis for the story is pretty interesting. I like some of the themes and stuff it touches on, like the kind of getting older and the dual storyline thing between being old and young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so,
a callback.
And we can I mean, as we go through this episode, we'll touch on the novel a little bit if it's relevant to what we're discussing. Like, one of the things I do want to point out is, like, the novel has interstitials in it, or interludes, I think is what they're actually called, but where it kind of talks about things that either happened in the past in Derry revolving around it, or other things that are happening in the present day. Like, there's a certain character that gets killed in one of the interludes that kind of is like the thing that kicks off the present day cycle for it. But that doesn't happen in this movie. Instead, you get the scene in the beginning where there's the little girl, and I don't. Again, I haven't finished the book, so I don't know if this is actually in the book or whatever. But we're gonna operate. Like I said, I haven't finished the book, so if I say something that's incorrect about that, sorry. But the scene in the beginning where the girl is riding her tricycle and Pennywise is there, like, behind the laundry, hanging on the clotheslines and stuff, they kind of treat that as the thing that kicks off the events of this. Because I don't remember. No, you know what? When Mike's talking to the cops, they do say that a couple of other kids have disappeared. So,
Yeah,
but
it was the latest string in them.
yeah, but regardless, the scene or the thing in the book that kicks off the present day stuff with it is not in this adaptation. And I don't want to say what it is because it is a spoiler, because it is in the Muschietti film, in the second one. Okay. So we'll move on to Lance. What is your experience with this TV miniseries? And what are your general thoughts about it?
I feel like I've seen the image of it quite a bit as a kid, probably in video stores. I hadn't seen it until my first girlfriend, the one I bought my cherry to. She had the VHS tape, and we watched it. And I think she's like, "Well, we have to get through the credits to get to the thing." So when you were talking about last time, before, like how we had hinted around once we were going to cover this, and joked, I wonder if they got the credits in the middle of the movie. She had already known about it, so when I watched it the first time with her, we fast forwarded to it, and then got to finish the rest of the movie. So yeah, she introduced me to this movie and The Thing, which is probably her greatest claim to fame other than my Venom poster I got. So yeah, I had seen it. So I'm thinking probably 18, 19 years old, probably 19 when I first saw it. And I thought it was fine enough. It wasn't like something stupid. Like, I watched the first Child's Play, and I kind of think Child's Play is stupid. Like, I just can't take it too seriously. I know it's supposed to be funny and shit like that, but I'm like, nah. Like, I'm not a slasher fan. I'm a Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees fan. Kind of like I'm a football fan that cheers for the Chiefs, and then my dad's team's the Vikings. But if someone else is playing, I'm bored as shit. Or if Jeff Hardy and the Ultimate Warrior is not on my wrestling TV screen, I'm not watching wrestling because I really don't give a shit. So I'm kind of like that when it comes to horror movies. It's Jason, Michael, or get the fuck out. Um, but this movie was because I had no expectations going into it. It was fine enough. I thought it was okay. And watching this time, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. There's a charm to it because I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but if anyone knows me, I like watching older TV shows because it's kind of like a comfort watch. I don't watch newer stuff. I watch stuff that I've watched like with my great grandmother or with my grandmother or with my dad or whatever. Just kind of just a calming effect of them having a rough day. So I watched like Matlock and In Heat of the Night. These are shows that came out around the time this movie was made. So the TV filter quality of this movie, because it's not HD, you can definitely tell it was made for TV cameras. So the TV quality of the camera work gave me a very Matlock In the Heat of the Night feel to it. And I recognize some of the actors that I've seen in those shows, just extras or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, spoiler alert, I think it's a pretty good movie. It definitely needs to be broken up because if we weren't covering this on the podcast, I wouldn't have watched all of this all the way through. Does that make sense? Because it is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 hours and 8 minutes is a lot. I know there's probably like 10 minutes of credits, but it is quite a bit to take in. But I mean, they did a really good work. The practical effects are good. You can kind of tell when they have the web at the end with all the people in it that's a matte painting. And they've got
Yeah.
the Jason and the Argonauts, or Ed 209, I guess is a better callback. Like fucking thing superimposed on the screen, that big spider at the end,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like I get it because it's trying to be accurate to the book. You'll have to
Yeah.
when we get to it, tell us about the lore because they don't mention anything about a turtle in this movie, but the two silver pieces she's flinging got like turtle indentions. It looks like a turtle shell almost. At least that's what I thought when I saw them. They could have just been hunks of like metal, but I think isn't
Sorry.
there something to do with a turtle?
What? You're starting to cut
Oh,
out. What was that
sorry.
last thing you said?
No. The lore of it with it, because I know it's a space spider,
Yeah.
and
So
the
I'll
metal pieces that she flung, were like I thought they had indentions like a turtle shell, because there is something about a turtle, isn't there, Cody?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess this will be a good point apart for me to just kind of go over my knowledge of what it is, what Pennywise is. So strap in. I don't know everything because a lot of it revolves around the Dark Tower series, and I've not read that, but I've done a lot of I'm curious about this aspect of the character, so I'm like digging around on the wikis and stuff like that to read about it. But it is essentially an eldritch cosmological being, like a cosmic being that comes to Earth, who came to Earth millions of years ago, and crash landed in what is modern day Derry. And it first awakens sometime a few hundred years ago, I think. I could be wrong. Again, some of this I may be mixing up some of the movie lore, but regardless, at some point in the past, it awakens. The first big event on record that it does commit as far as murders and stuff is he basically wipes out an entire settlement of European settlers that come to the area, and it's very like Roanoke colony sort of event. There is another cosmic being that is referenced as the turtle that is deemed to be basically the enemy of it. And this is where I get a little hazy. I think it was cast away, and that's why he ended up crash landing on Earth. Some people believe that he is actually the Red King or the Crimson King or whatever the hell he's called from the Dark Tower, because there's instances where when he ascends the tower in those books, like the deadlights appear. It's like true form. He has like a physical form and then like a I don't know, a cosmic form or whatever you want to call it.
Like,
yeah, so the deadlights are like considered what his true like cosmic form is, or its cosmic form, because it's genderless. And then the spider is the closest thing that you see to its true physical form. Obviously, it is a shapeshifter, since it presents itself as a clown most of the time. But obviously, as you see in this movie and described in the books, it takes on many other forms in an attempt to scare children. It likes to scare people before it eats them, because it's like the adrenaline or whatever seasons the meat.
Dude, the adrenochrome.
Is that what it's called?
It's a conspiracy. I think it is a real chemical, but there's a conspiracy theory that like the world's elites harvest adrenochrome from children.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So yeah.
But yeah, so like it. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I can't remember chapter 2, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Has the turtle at all been brought on screen? Because that's what
the turtle itself has not been on screen. No, at least not in the It adaptations. I haven't seen the Dark Tower movie, so I don't know if it shows up there. But no, the turtle has not been brought. You don't physically see the turtle.
okay.
I'm not even sure I know they reference it in the book. I think they reference it in the book, and then I want to say in chapter 2, maybe someone comments on the turtle or some shit, or there's like they like hide like little references. Like, I don't know. Let me see real quick.
Did you guys see the metal pieces that she was flinging with the?
Yeah, but see, I didn't see a turtle, the shape of a turtle in it. They just looked like lumps of silver.
It was really weird though. It's like, these are the only 2 we can use. You know?
So yeah, there are some references to the turtle, like as far as you see things on screen, but you don't ever actually see the turtle itself, and which is. And you don't see anybody like say like, oh, this is the power of the turtle or anything crazy like that. But like one of the references is that in It Chapter 2, on Ben's desk in one scene, there's a little turtle figurine. So there's just like little things like that. And I want to say that when Georgie goes down to get the paraffin or whatever it is for the boat, that the brand that it is Turtle Wax. So there's like just little references to the turtle or whatever scattered throughout. But yeah, as far my in-depth knowledge of the turtle is just that it's basically the polar opposite of what it is in the cosmos, and it's actual enemy.
The turtle's cool. He just chills and smokes weed and stuff.
It's the turtle. It's the turtle from Dragon Ball Z on Master Roshi's Island.
He goes, oh, so that's like, so in this movie when they have like those mentions of like, well, there's like a guiding force that like brought us together or some shit, and that's
yeah,
what that's
it's kind of supposed to be implied, I guess, that it's the turtle.
The turtle. It's funny to refer to it like that. Yeah.
Well, again, Stephen King has admittedly said that he was on drugs when he wrote the book. So, probably when he wrote a lot of his books back in like the 70s and shit.
I mean, you're right. 600-page books. You got to be on something, man.
Dude, it is like 1,300 pages.
Yeah, that's a huge
lot.
book.
And like, respect to him, man. I can't read 13 sentences without getting bored. And that's probably because I don't even have ADHD. I probably have this self-imposed ADHD because of the media I consume. But when it comes to that, I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, I just can't. I'll get fucking bored with it.
I've just for one, I've really connected. I really connect with Stephen King's writing, like his writing style, and I think that's really what it comes down to. If you're someone who likes to read books, like
Yeah.
I've had people be like, "Hey, man, you should read this book. It's awesome. I think you dig it." And then I read it, and it's like it's not really the context or the content of the story that I have a problem with. It's just like the style of writing that is just hard to like get into. But whatever it is about Stephen King's style of writing, man, I just usually like I've never finished it because in the past when I've tried to read it, like it scares the shit out of me and it gives me nightmares. So like I just stop reading it. But I've read many of his books. Including some super fucking long ones like Under the Dome, which is also like 11 or 1200 pages or whatever.
Yeah. I've never gotten around to actually reading any Stephen King. I want to. Recently, I read Kurt Vonnegut. I read Slaughterhouse-Five.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't read it, but
Sorry, I'm not laughing at that. Just I wasn't expecting you to use the Kurt Vonnegut's name.
oh yeah.
Get on your story.
Yeah.
I got something I got to tell you about it. Go ahead.
No, I just like listened to. I listened to an audiobook actually because I listened to it at work. Of Slaughterhouse.
See, that's something else I can't do. I can't do audiobooks. I've tried. Like when I wanted to read Haunting of Hill House, I like used like the Libby app, which is like the library app or whatever, and I checked out the Haunting of Hill House audiobook, and I got like the first chapter. I'm like, I can't do this. Like I've got to fucking read it. So I just bought the book and read it.
Yeah, a lot of times with audiobooks, the way they read pisses me off. Like they take too much. Like they'll be like, "Hello, how's it going?" He said. And it's like, fucking, don't read like that. Just fucking read normal. Like,
and
goddamn.
Eleanor rode up to the house, stepped out of the car, and grabbed her bags from the boot.
That's exactly it. It's like, dude, you do not read in your head like that. Fuck off.
There's something. I know we're kind of taking a little tangent here, but maybe.
Oh wait, I got a better tangent after this. Don't worry.
Maybe book readers will dig it, and maybe they'll vibe with what we're saying. But for me, it's so interesting, like sitting down and reading a book and really like getting into it because you almost like forget that you're even fucking reading.
Yeah.
Like you kind of like fade into this like mind space of like where the story is just like playing out in your head, and you forget that you're actually like just like reading words on a page. It's such a cool feeling, and I hate like when I don't have like a significant amount of time to actually sit down and read when I want to read, because nothing is worse than when you're getting into a book and like you start getting in that zone, and then hey, you know, someone interrupts you, whether it's a phone call or, you know, whatever, and it's just like, oh fuck, like I just want to you know, get in the zone with it. But Lance, what is your thing you wanted to bring up?
It's funny. The thing, so my book reading, I don't want to come across as a simpleton that doesn't like reading. I'll read things that interest me, like Star Wars books. Okay, there's one book, you were talking about reading a book to get like so enthralled. They had a Star Wars book, Darth Maul Shadowhunter, for like 350 pages or something like that. And it was a prequel to the episode 1, and you just read through his life. And I remember reading that book and visualize everything in that book. It was fucking awesome. There was a Boba Fett book I read. Some ghost story books that were kind of long that I liked, that I could kind of visualize. But when it comes to like reading other things, like being forced to read shit in school, like I remember 1984. And there was another one I read that same year that was also futuristic. I remember one of them being, The Scarlet Letter, I think, was another one. I remember reading that book, and that book being very visual. Like, I really enjoyed that book.
That's funny, because when I was a kid, I thought I would like that book, and then, like, I thought it was really boring.
Yeah, that's just, again, I think a lot of it has to do, I mean, it's multiple things, right? It's the content of the story, it's the writing style, because, yeah, I do remember us having to read Scarlet Letter in high school as well, and, you know, I hate it. Like, freshman English, we had to do a large portion of the semester was just on, like, Shakespeare.
Yeah, we had that too.
I could not stand it. It's just I
Luck-
just couldn't get into it. You know.
Luckily for me, I didn't get into advanced English until midterm of my 10th grade year. Like, I had avoided it. I'm making fucking like 98, 99 in regular English. I'm not even fucking trying. It's great. And then my aunt tells my mom, that's probably too easy for him. I'm thinking, shut the fuck up. I can't say it out loud because I'm living at my mom's house. And I get to 10th grade, like, Mom, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Okay. So I'm in English class, and they literally force me. Like, they're like, well, we got to move this class. She's taking her rest period is going to be in this class period or whatever, right? And they literally, like, got 2 or 3 of us to go into a different advanced English class that she was taking. So I think English was, like, second period. It was fourth for me. I remember walking down the hallway and looking over around fourth period, and she had a class, and they're like, those motherfuckers lied to me. Like, they literally had to place me in to the fucking class. I didn't want to do it. So I missed reading that book. But they're going to the Kurt Vonnegut thing. So there's a movie that we're probably going to cover one day just because it's a fun movie. It's called Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. And he's a dude that dropped out of school, became a millionaire, coming up with a tall and fat store for people with selling clothes and shit like that, right? So his son's in college, and son wants to drop out of college. And he goes, look, if you want to drop out, how about I join college and we'll do it together? And he's like, you'll do that? He goes, yeah. So when they get to the English class, he has to write a book report on Kurt Vonnegut. And his son goes, you haven't done any research on Kurt Vonnegut at this point. He goes, I tried. I tried to read it. It's just boring. And you hear a knock at the door. And he goes, well, Dad, you're going to fill that paper. He opens the door, and it's Kurt Vonnegut, the actual writer.
Yeah, like
he goes, I'm Kurt Vonnegut. I'm looking for so-and-so. He goes, do you want to come on in? And he goes, Dad? So he gets the book report, hands it in to his teacher, who's actually fucking also, because they're the same age. And she goes, you know what? Later on, because it's a whole little thing, but she's mad at him, so she fails him. He goes, why'd you fail me? And she goes, I didn't fail you. You failed me. And whoever wrote that book report, because I know it wasn't you, doesn't know the first thing about Kurt Vonnegut. And it cuts to him on the phone. And another thing, Vonnegut, fuck you. Because it's like, Vonnegut's the one that actually wrote the fucking book report, so he'd know anything. She goes, he doesn't know the first thing about Vonnegut. So it's a pretty good movie. We'll have to cover it one day.
So I want to backtrack a little bit because I didn't talk about my experience with the 1990 miniseries. I can't remember the first time I saw it. It was one of those things that we had on VHS when I was a kid. I've talked about this on previous podcasts, but I'll just run through it real quick again. We had the version of it on VHS where it was on a single tape, right? And as a small child, I thought, well, when the movie hits credits, it's over. So for years as a kid, I didn't know there was a second part to this until I went and visited with my mom, and we went and rented it. And when we rented it, it was 2 VHS tapes instead of all being compiled onto one. And so that had me, and then I was probably 10 or 11 when this happened. And when I got back home to my dad's house, I went and looked at the VHS tape, and you could see that there was a bunch of tape still on the right side of the VHS. For those of you who don't know about VHS, you could see there's a little window where you could see into the tape or whatever, see how much of it was played on the left or right, whatever. And so I put it in and fast forwarded through the credits, and there, lo and behold, there's part 2 of it. So, but I've seen this movie, I don't know how many times in my life. I loved it when I was a kid. It scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. And at watching it now, I have issues with it, especially after also watching the Muschietti films multiple times and really falling in love with those. And obviously modern tech and all that kind of stuff and different budgets and whatever, but still, and we'll get into details of what my problems are, but I do have issues, but I still think it's an enjoyable enough movie. Although it does drag in parts, because there were a few times where I was like checking how much time was left of this.
I mean, I'm sure there'll probably be parts where. What off the top of your head can you think of those moments are that dragged for you?
I want to, as crazy as it is, because it's kind of clever how they set it up in the first part, but whenever they cut to them being adults, and it's like you have to go through this whole like segment of like, oh, this is who they are now, and like they get the phone call, and then we got to get to the part where like the way that it's at the time, I'm sure it was like, man, this is a good way of like introducing these characters, and it still kind of is, but to me, for whatever reason, it just feels like it drags.
Yeah.
And again, that could also be because of how the newer films are made, and I just prefer that the way that they're done there.
I mean, Cody, it's 3 hours long, buddy. You are completely valid in saying it drags in some areas. It's not an insult to the source material.
Yeah, and then there are just like some scenes where it's like, you know, hey, the Losers Club is all doing something together, and we've got an oldie song playing, and we're going to do this for like 3 or 4 minutes, and it's just kind of like,
oh boy, I wonder what they were doing together. Anyway,
it's kind of like, man, let's move along, and I don't know, but I have a lot of other issues, which I guess we can kind of get into those, and we'll start talking about the film more in detail. One of my big issues with this is the pacing of everything, where it feels like Pennywise or its like manifestations are thrown at you so quick with very little buildup of tension that it almost like it diminishes the effect that it should have whenever you see Pennywise on screen.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it really just feels like, boom, here's a scene where the kids are normal, and then all of a sudden there's Pennywise, and then, okay, there's another kind of normal part, and all of a sudden there's Pennywise, and it's just like, there's no ramping up tension. Even when Pennywise is on screen, it's just like, hi, you fat boy, or whatever, you know, it's just like, yeah. Man, I can't wait till we get to the newer films, Owen, because that's going to really, like, that's when I can be like, this is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I can picture, like, off the top of my head, like when they're in the Chinese restaurant or whatever, like, you know, they're just having like a normal meal, and then suddenly it's like snap, you know, like no build up whatsoever. It's like, holy shit, all the fortune cookies have fucking eyeballs, you know.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, to defend the production of this movie, it is written as a made for TV movie.
Right,
like
yeah.
The things that, like when we're having ad breaks, which Cody, you're not having ad breaks as you pay for ad free. Those scenes where it does that little fade to black is to keep you interested, so you won't change the channel. And this movie was literally made to be viewed in 2 separate viewings as a Sunday night movie on ABC.
For sure.
And so I was just saying, like when you talking about, like, because just remember, like, we're watching it like balls to the wall, all edited together, how the story's supposed to be played out, but it was meant to be viewed in 2 increments, and so it is going to feel like it drags. But you have areas where when it goes to commercial break, it's ramping up. You have the Pennywise thing, and then the next thing he's gone. It's like, well, that's because it was supposed to keep your attention so you don't flip the channel and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just for rating. So it's done specifically for that. Just, we're not shitting on the director. I mean, Cody's right. It does drag in some areas, but we're not watching it with the original intention it was supposed to be watching it.
Yeah, you're right, because the way that we're watching it today in December 2025 is edited together as one huge like 3-hour film on HBO Max. So you don't even get like the break in the middle. I was trying to think when I was watching it, because I can't remember when it's split into part 1 and 2 in the original like version of this, right, where, you know, it was released on TV and later on VHS. I can't remember if Stanley committing suicide in the bathtub is at the end of part 1 or if that's what starts part 2. It's the end of part 1, right?
going off the logic of what I was just like going with, I feel like that would have been the thing to roll credits on.
Yeah, I
Like
think
that
you're
was
right
like,
because
holy
I think
shit, I gotta see what happened next time, you know?
I was trying to remember like seeing it as a kid, and again I've seen part one however many times on its own, and I think I remember seeing that scene quite a bit, because I feel like the next scene, which I think is Bill like arriving in Derry and seeing Pennywise in the cemetery, is the first thing that I remember seeing and being like, oh, this is like completely new to me. Whenever I finally watched the second part of it.
And you know what's crazy? Like just like watching it and then like because I had already known. I wonder if some of the thing is like your inner child is betrayed almost like I didn't know you existed, and and so you're like when you get to the second part you're just kind of like done with this movie, but also like the effects that we talked about. I was surprised to be honest with you. Like this, for the most part, this movie it follows the beats that the first, like the next two do, like 2017 and 2019.
Uh,
Like I
in
didn't remember Stan committing suicide like at all. I remember watching in the theaters when we were watching both of them because me and you
yeah,
saw them, like me, you, and Stephanie saw
yeah.
them together, and I
I
remember
don't want
thinking
to
like
like.
I don't remember him committing suicide, but I didn't
Yeah, I don't
remember
want to
that
get
in this movie.
too much into detail with those, just because
Oh, I know.
Owen,
We'll cover
you
them.
haven't seen those, right? Either one of them.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I don't want to get too
No,
much
I
into
know
detail
that.
as to what is different. We'll talk about that whenever we do those, but
Yeah, but I just
because
remember
there
thinking
is
like there were quite a bit though. Like to
watching.
me, I was surprised today. I was like, "Damn, they actually covered that." Because it was
Yeah,
TV. I wasn't thinking they were going to have something about suicide in it.
well, yeah, I mean it's a
And
very pivotal moment of the story. Um,
yeah,
so it that, but yes, there are a lot of things that are in this adaptation are not in the newer adaptations.
yeah,
Um,
well, just the bigger beats. Like I said, I mean, this was 3 hours
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I was
yeah.
paying attention.
Your main things like the Chinese restaurant is the same across all of it, the book and everything, and of course the big opening, or well, it doesn't open the movie here because it opens with the girl getting killed, with the tricycle girl, but Georgie going out with the boat and all that. I mean that's like a big thing.
What's funny about
I,
that scene in this movie is you 100% can tell it's a sunny day
oh yeah,
and it's just a rain machine. And I'm thinking like, okay,
yeah,
you can kind of like logically think about that because here in Tennessee we'll have some rainstorms. You'll see sunlight
and the
like
sun's
fucking
shining
in the
like
distance.
a few miles away, and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
you can like,
and you will eventually get there, but you're like getting a downpour, but the sun's out. It's weird. And this
yeah,
one like here is obviously like there's the sun. It is shining bright, and it's a fucking heavy ass rain machine. It was just entertaining. I was watching. I'm like, boy, this is funny as hell.
yeah. So I do. There is a comparison with this scene specifically to the book that I do want to mention, and it's something that, you know, I know again. I don't want to have to repeat myself every time I criticize something with this. I understand everyone that this is a made-for-TV miniseries. That it had a small budget. Well, it was a $12 million budget, so I'm assuming that's small for TV stuff. So I get it, and everything was practical. But there's a key thing in the book when Georgie meets Pennywise, where when he first sees Pennywise, his eyes are yellow. When he first sees him in the storm drain, and then like whenever he like kind of like, you know, blinks or whatever, and he looks again, and Pennywise's eyes have turned blue, which he does that as a way to like kind of lure Georgie in to make him more calm, because the yellow eyes are more like reflective of what like a predator out in nature would be, right? Um,
Sexual predator.
but in this, anytime Tim Curry is just regular Pennywise, he just has brown eyes, and then
Yeah,
he has
I don't know necessarily know how his contacts like because the
yeah,
contacts they gave him were kind of like a red and yellow swirl contact almost,
right, yeah,
which was pretty nifty.
um,
I thought it was pretty cool. And obviously you can't do much. They're trying to create the tension, and you can't get graphic with killing kids. So it's like here he comes,
Oh
and then
yeah.
everything fades.
I mean,
You know.
and I'm fine with it being a TV thing. I'm fine with the whole like the way it ended with him. You know, it showing the yellow eyes and the teeth, and it just kind of fading to black after that.
He's
I mean,
like
we can
as he's just like going towards the screen. That's
we
this
we
movie
can
is
we can like connect the dots as to what happened to Georgie, right?
yeah. They were
And
playing
later
Yahtzee down in the storm drain.
later on,
happened?
they Eddie tells Ben like, yeah, someone tore his arm off or whatever.
What?
That's the thing too. I'm confused about when Pennywise says, "Oh, the meat is like y'all taste so much better when you're afraid." And it's like, yeah, but you're only eating like small parts of these things, and you're not eating the whole thing. I would figure he would just eat the whole fucking thing, you know?
Why is he
That's
only
the
eating
only thing.
kids?
Do I?
Is that ever why is it ever explained why he just targets children?
They're
I guess
easier
'cause
to
they
scare.
scare.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
their
and he
imaginations
likes
are
the.
easier to tap into.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing.
Freddy Krueger.
That's a big thing because like adults, like they're not afraid of the same sort of thing, right? And you see that in the second part or toward the second half of this, where it is trying to scare the adults. He's mostly just trying to scare them to leave Derry because he knows that they are a threat to him.
We're
But
gonna fuck him up.
you hear a lot of the characters being like, "You're not real" or whatever. This isn't real, which it is real. I mean, like he's actually doing these things, but it's their way of just like shaking off the horror of what they're seeing.
Just the
But
weakening
that's-
of him, right? Kind of like.
Yeah,
So let me
and-
ask you this, Cody. When was the first? When was the book written?
I think it's in the 1970s.
Okay, I wonder how much, and I mean, it probably isn't anything. It's just like because it's very Freddy Krueger-ish, you know. And that movie came out in '84, and
think
it's like this is only a dream. You're not real, and that's how they weaken him in the first movie. Now, obviously, it changes a little later on when they. Make
I think
it
the
into a
book was
fucking
written in like
franchise.
the mid '80s. I want to say.
Let me see.
Almost.
Yeah. Look, Jamie, let's pull the clip.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's 86 is when it was
Okay.
published.
So Freddy Krueger, so he watched Nightmare on Elm Street and did a bunch of coke and started writing the book.
He stole it. We got you,
I mean,
Stephen
it's
King. You
plagiarism.
fucking hack.
Fucking. It's fucking plagiarism, brother.
Now I
No.
will say that the idea for it is older than that because the first time that it is mentioned in any of Stephen King's stories, which yes, it is referenced in other
Yeah.
stories that he's
The Dark
done,
Towers.
was the Gray Matter, a short story that he wrote, which was written. I think that was written in the 70s. But
Gray
it
Matter.
it isn't a character. Yeah, so it was Gray Matter was published in 1973. It wasn't like a character in the story, but it's mentioned where a character in the story is talking about how he knew a guy that went down into the sewers, and when he came out, his hair was all completely white, and he had claimed that he had seen a giant spider down there. So like, and obviously at the time he wasn't thinking about it and Pennywise and all that, but he pulled from that later on, I guess, to come
Yeah.
up with this idea of it.
Now, for me, it's like the only comparison, like for me and Freddy Krueger, for it is just the psychological thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he is attacking children, like grown-ups very much in Springwood, Ohio. They cover up the Freddy Krueger stuff, act like it doesn't exist, and act like their kids are
They
like,
cover
"Oh,
it
you guys
up,
are
yeah.
crazy."
In Derry, I think that
He's
its
influencing
presence,
everybody.
like, yeah, he's influencing them where they just don't see it or whatever,
Or don't want to see it almost.
or don't
Like they
wanna
all
see
know
it, yeah.
shit's happened. So it's
And
it's in spirit close to the same thing. I'm not saying I'm just curious. Like, because Wes Craven wrote Freddy Krueger based on some homeless guy that was looking into his like living room window, and like just how both him and Stephen King came up with these psychological and paranormal creatures that just affect the kid's psyche so much, which is interesting, Because I mean, hell, I'm sure Wes Craven was on some drugs when he wrote that movie. So
yeah, and it's interesting to see like the things that it takes the shape of. Obviously, so for context, the when they're kids in this, it takes place in 1960, and when they're adults, it takes place in 1990. In the book, the kids section takes place in the 50s, and the adult section takes place in the 80s. I think.
So you when you read off the years before, so it was like 1908, 19.
Yes, that is those are the years in the modern adaptations. Because
so in this one they were going with 30 increments, and they were just like counting back. So 1990, 1960, 1930.
They were kind of implying. They kind of implied in this that it hibernates for 30 years. I think in the book it's roughly 27, and 27 is what they follow in the modern adaptations.
Yeah.
6, 7.
Real quick, 1990. I was 2 years old, and the Ultimate Warrior was the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion, baby. So and Sting was also the NWA. And Pennywise was like Vince.
He was putting his influence over it.
And he was like, Vince, make him champ, and I'll bite your dick off. And he goes, well, if you don't, he's like, I'll still bite your dick off. Well, at least I'll get something with him.
Mentioning just real quick, I guess, mentioning Lance's age for this when this movie came out reminds me of like one of my first anytime I think of this movie, I think of my mom telling me about seeing this movie. My mom was 10 when this movie came out, and she would always tell me, she'd be like, dude, that movie made me like afraid to like, fucking go shower and stuff.
Me too. I was going to bring that up. The scene where Eddie goes into the fucking showers by himself and Pennywise like comes out of the drain. Yeah. That shit scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. So when I would take a shower as quick as I possibly could, and I'd be staring down at the fucking drain the entire time because I was so afraid that I would see something. Like if I started to see something, I was jumping out of that shower.
Yeah.
But yeah, same here. It scared me bad when it came to to taking showers or whatever.
That's a very good effect too, by the way. You can obviously tell it's claymation, like Gumby or some shit when they do it. But I think it's really well done for TV production. I'm gonna be honest. Now, when you saw that, because you'd see that kind of production in a movie at the time. Owen. I know Owen will sit there and watch this stuff, and he's watched worse shit when he was younger. So you're more desensitized to these things. But like when you're like first watching this type of movie, that shit scares the hell out of you. Like Friday the 13th Part 6 is not scary whatsoever. That movie terrified me when I first watched it. Halloween 2, pretty scary, but not anything like right home about it. It scared the shit out of me when I first watched it. It was my first 2 horror movies I ever watched. So there is something about, like, if you grow up now and the first scary movie you watch is Terrifier 2 or some shit like that, everything else is going to seem really fucking tame and, like, stupid.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be a fucking edgelord when you get older and listen to Ice Nine Kills. And
that's me.
That's literally me, bro.
That's literally me.
I want to get to my, I don't know, it's probably going to be a somewhat controversial opinion of this. And it has to do with Tim Curry as Pennywise.
You think he sucks at it?
I don't think he sucks.
He was better in Rocky Horror.
I've never seen that.
And even scarier in Rocky Horror, really.
He's better in Scary Movie 2.
He's also, here's another thing though too. He's also in Home Alone 2 as the hotel manager. And he's fucking fantastic in that movie. Like, I'm going to quote this scene real quick, Cody. Hold on.
I'm not saying that Tim Curry's bad in this. I mean, he's a good actor. He's good at this. It may be more to do with the writing of it, just the interpretation. I don't like how silly Pennywise can be at times in this. because when you really
he's
break
supposed to
it
be a
down,
clown, though.
yes, he's disguising himself as a clown. But when you break it down, Pennywise is still it. This cosmic being that is really just pretending to be other things so that it can eat children. But like
Yeah.
the scene in this when Richie goes to the library to wait for Mike, and then like he's trying to tell the librarian like, "Hey, tell Mike I'll be back later" or whatever, and Pennywise is up there just like acting goofy and stuff on the
He's
balcony.
telling those shitty ass jokes.
Yeah, it's like this doesn't feel right for what it is. And again, I'll say it again. This may be just my I prefer Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise, just straight up. I prefer his performance. I prefer the interpretation of it. The way that he looks, where he looks like a clown, but there's also things just off about the way he looks. Like he looks like 95% human, but not quite all the way there, you know? Whereas this obviously it just looks like a dude in clown paint or in clown suit. And like I said, sometimes he just feel a little goofy. But it's a preference thing, I think. I know a lot of people adore Tim Curry as Pennywise. Again, I like Tim Curry as Pennywise. I think these days I prefer the modern version of Pennywise over this.
Yeah, I wonder if, and this is just me, like I don't know anything about the production of this movie. I wonder if, like when they're writing this thing, are they trying to tie in clownisms that you would see on television at this time to keep viewers engaged? Because obviously the whole, space spider thing is really gonna it's not gonna translate well, and it's actually, to me, is the weakest point of this movie when the spider thing shows up.
Oh yeah,
because Tim Curry as Pennywise, at least he's personality, and he's evil as hell.
for sure. But
the thing I was thinking of, like, I don't know, like, if it was written like that, because he looks very Bozo-esque. Bozo was a TV clown, had his own TV
which
show.
Bozo is one of the things that Stephen King references in the book when he describes what Pennywise looks like.
Yeah, so that's obviously that, and I mean, hell, there's probably, and I know he wrote it in '86, but who knows? I mean, it's funny because it's not tied to it, but it's also kind of Krusty the Clown-esque. Like, this Pennywise iteration, you could associate almost with how Krusty the Clown talks on the earlier Simpsons, that kind of very, like, raspy voice. Because Curry was talking about, I saw in a Wikipedia article, that he was trying to make it, like, almost vaudish, like that era, like, from a Boston accent, where Pennywise wouldn't have a Boston accent in your fucking name. So it's almost like Krusty the Clown, Doink the Clown-esque. Doink Clown came out later. All these clown things tied together. It's just interesting, because I think Krusty the Clown was also based off Bozo the Clown.
Yeah, so Stephen King based Pennywise's appearance off of a combination of Bozo, John Wayne Gacy, Clarabelle the Clown, and Ronald McDonald. In the book, he's described as having a baggy silk suit of silver with orange pom-pom buttons down the front, a collar ruff, and a blue necktie. He has a white face and a bald head with red hair on either side, and his mouth has a red clown smile. So some of the elements are accurate to the book here, like the red smile, the red hair, the white bald head, but the suit is completely different. Obviously, it's like this big multicolored suit. Whereas in the modern adaptation, it is the silver suit. It doesn't have the blue tie, but other than that, it's more book accurate, at least, to the general description of what Stephen King says in the book. Although there are other features of Pennywise that are changed for the movies. Yeah, I mean, like like I said, I think a lot of it could just be my criticisms of this version of Pennywise could just be retroactive, mostly because of how much I like Bill Skarsgård's interpretation. But Owen, what did you think of Pennywise in this film?
He was okay. I can kind of see that. Yeah, he does take some of the fear away from some scenes when he's hamming it up. I think he can be pretty threatening here and there. I mean, I'm going to go out and say that I think that he's the best actor in this whole production.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah. I can't think of...
There's some of the I think that the kid actors are mostly better than the adult actors outside of Tim Curry.
Yeah, it's like
I can't get
the
that.
adult actors like have... It feels like they have too much like tongue-in-cheekness or something going on.
What did you say, Lance?
No, I was saying I can't get behind that because John Ritter. Hold on, I was on Twitter.
I don't know. I just don't know that John Ritter does anything to really like make me think that he has a good performance or anything. I mean, it's
that comes down to the writing though, because
yeah,
I've seen
true.
John Ritter acting. Like I said,
true. I mean,
quite
the adults. The adults. I've always felt like the adult part of this is the weakest part anyway. The kid part of it is like way more interesting, and but I just think in general, like the kids, they just portray their characters better. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I get that you have a couple of well-known actors or whatever as the adults, but yeah, and you're right. It probably is the writing. The writing has a lot to do with it.
I think 100% because I'm gonna defend like Harry Anderson and John Ritter here because I've watched them in sitcoms do various different roles. I mean, John Ritter carried the Three's Company show for like 8 years, and he was playing a character living with two women. But he had to pretend to be gay, but he wasn't gay.
Are you sure?
And no, he wasn't because the whole show is about him hiding his romances away from his landlords who think he's gay because they don't want him living with a woman. They're gonna kick him out. It's a '70s thing. Anyway,
and beating off in the closet in secret.
Oh Lord! So him and Harry are great. Harry has said a lot of funny shit on Night Court and on Cheers. None of the shit in this movie he said was funny. It's because it's the way it was written. Like I've seen those guys.
Are you talking about the guy that plays Richie?
Yes.
I was actually going to bring up something too, like when you get introduced to adult Richie and he's finishing that stand up bit or whatever, and like everyone's like just laughing hysterically. Like I'm thinking, man, this is like the worst ending to a stand up routine I've ever heard in my life. Like this sucks.
Yeah.
Well, when he's trying to make like all of them laugh and shit when they're...
Yeah.
So that comes across. That's the writing of this movie for that.
He's like, I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Yeah. And like I said, that's
I love that. I didn't understand. Sorry, before I lose this thought, I guess I didn't pick up when I was a kid why they say beep beep Richie to him, and it's like when he's like being a little much, and they say it to him as a way of like, hey, like reel it in a little bit,
Yeah. But real quick,
I didn't pick up on that until this viewing.
Wait, why did they do that?
So
It's just a kinder way rather than saying, "Hey, shut the fuck up" or knock it off. It's like beep beep Richie is a way of like, because there's like there's the scene where he's like yelling, and they like you're shouting or whatever. He's like, yeah I know, beep beep Richie, and like it kind of implies that that's what they say to him as a way to like just ease up a little bit on how extra you're being.
It's so extra.
Yeah. So I'll say this about John Ritter. He actually, I guess he worked on the Walton as well, so it's cool that he worked with the Richard Thomas guy who played Bill. But John had been wanting to be a part of a Stephen King production for a long time at this point. He's been a huge King fan since after the novel Carrie was released. and he tried to. George A. Romero was going to do a theatrical version of The Stand, which was rejected. He was trying to get a part of that.
Yeah.
He wanted this part to play in it. He said the quote, "Tell ABC I'll play any part they want me to. I'll play the girl." He wants to be part of it, like Stephen King part so bad. Now, Tommy Lee Wallace said this in 2015. I was at first a bit intimidated by my all-star cast, but my fears were unfounded. They all turned out to be generous and supportive team players. The child actors was much more of a challenge. I'm especially proud of the adult-child pairings, as I think we made astute choices and got lucky making it believable that these kids grew up to be the people that we saw later on. So he had a lot better time directing the adults than he did the kids, which I mean I imagine it's like hell working around child labor laws and TV production schedules because you're shooting a lot longer than you would be in a movie and you're on a tighter budget. You know that 12 million. I wonder how much that 12 million was used on production versus like I mean they made their movie back on ratings and ad revenue, their money back. ABC.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and I also thought it was interesting.
You gotta think like right. So like we've already talked about, you have a few names, especially in the adult cast of well-known actors, and you gotta think if John Ritter, who's probably the most well-known name out of the adult cast outside of Tim Curry, you gotta think that they probably, especially John Ritter being like, well, I need to be part of this or whatever. He probably wasn't like asking for like his regular like amount of money, right? Yeah. Knowing what the project was and really wanting to be a part of it, it was probably like I'll take what you offer because I want to be part of this. Which I mean still happens today in Hollywood. Like some certain actors want to work with certain directors or on certain projects or whatever, and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to ask for as much money as I normally do because I really just want to be a part of this.
That's I just wanted to chirp in there because I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and like I said, I know that a lot of it
is the kids kind of sucked. Like the kid parts of this movie were boring as shit to me. Like none of them were good actors. None.
I don't know. I disagree. I disagree. I think that yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just to me, I think that overall their parts were better than the adult parts. But I mean, I've talked about it. I've already said my piece on that, and I think that the script does have a lot to do with how bad the or how lackluster the adult parts were because. You know, some of the characters just kind of feel one note. I mean, Richie, for the most part, is just whining and crying and saying he wants to go home. And Beverly has just got goo-goo eyes for pretty much every other person in the Losers Club. She's you know, like
I love you guys. I mean, I don't blame her. You know, she's getting her ass. You know,
but it's not really like how it's not really how their characters felt when they were kids. Like it, you know. Especially like Richie definitely didn't seem like a scaredy cat. Like Stan was the only one that really felt like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be part of this. I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely didn't want to be a part of this because he killed himself.
Yeah. Well, and there's reason for that. There's reasons implied, at least in the book and stuff, of why he does it. And it's the whole idea is that. You know,
can't take it, dude.
For them to be able to succeed, they all needed to be present. All of the living Losers Club members had to be present, which still, you know, in this adaptation, I guess it's kind of like thrown out the window anyway because Mike gets hurt and he's like doesn't go down to the sewers with them in the end. So,
yeah.
But the idea, I guess, is that Stan kills himself because he's like, okay, well, if I just take myself all out of the picture, then you know. They'll be more likely to succeed, and they won't be the chance that I'll chicken out and leave, you know. But
well, you know, I think it's also maybe implied that Pennywise was tickling his balls in his bathtub. He's like, can't do it, no. So he just sliced his wrist up.
I can see that implication, but I don't think that's what it is. I think that
I was joking. I was joking about the ball tickling thing.
No, no. I thought you were saying like Pennywise had influence on him committing suicide or whatever. Which I think that Pennywise might, in the sense of like Stan is afraid, but it's not. Pennywise's reach doesn't reach outside of Derry. So.
Well, remember,
Pennywise.
like Stan was the one that didn't believe. All the way up, even seeing the clown, he didn't believe up until that last
Yeah.
moment he had.
Yeah.
So maybe
And, like,
he had gotten so far into, like, back to his thought process, like, there's no way that's going to believe. And when that one thing is reminded to him, it weakens so much it just shakes him shakes him to the core of his being, and he just decides to kill himself in the slowest way possible.
I think that if we take the words of one of the great rappers in history, Parappa, into account, then you gotta believe.
And you got to step on the gas.
and
I kind of prefer
punch, kick.
But I kind of prefer Riff Raff too.
Riff Raff.
Jamma Lammy.
Any of you guys here speak telepathically? Anyway.
Yeah, me.
I think that's the greatest thing.
There are a few changes that I know of from the book. Eddie is killed in the book by Pennywise in the spider form, but in that the spider either rips his arm off or bites his arm off or something like that. Whereas this, it's implied that when he gets picked up by the spider, it crushes his ribs, and that's what kills him. Also, there's kind of nods to it a little bit in this without like outright traipsing on like license issues, but the Wolfman, him showing up as the Wolfman to scare was it Richie? And yeah, Richie. And here they kind of set it up as the movie playing in the Paramount is I was a teenage werewolf, so it's supposed to be the werewolf from that instead of the Wolfman. And then when it shows up as a mummy later on, it's like this weird mummy in like a trench coat and stuff. But if I remember correctly in the book, it's just like the mummy, right, from the old movies. And same thing with Frankenstein's monster. It takes the form of Frankenstein's monster in the book as well, but it doesn't do that here.
I found it interesting on this is ABC who made this movie. That they had Paramount, which is a CBS company, had Paramount Movie Theater. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this was like before Paramount was owned by CBS, perhaps. But I always thought Viacom owned them all.
Is it really supposed to be that Paramount though, or is it supposed to be like just a theater called Paramount?
Well, I mean, it is your movie, brother.
He only watches that movie. That theater only shows Paramount movies only.
Yeah, that's all they show. Like I said earlier, I did write down a list of all the times that Pennywise manifest in this. I'm going to run through them real quick, so just bear with me. I just want to get them out there because when we do the next one and then chapter 2, I'll reference this list more so we can kind of talk about things that were changed between the two. First, the movie starts off with the girl riding the tricycle seeing it in her yard, and it kills her. Then we get the Georgie scene. Next, Bill sees the photo album bleeds and like closes on its own in Georgie's room. Ben sees Pennywise or it disguised as his dad out in the Barrens, and then obviously changes into the clown. It may call him Fat Boy there, but I can't remember. I think he calls him Fat Boy every time he sees him. Beverly hears the voices and in the sink, and then the big blood bubble comes up and pops. Eddie sees Pennywise in the showers. Richie sees Pennywise as the Wolfman in the boiler room of the school, and then obviously turns into the clown. The Losers Club as a whole sees the picture where he shows up in the photograph or whatever in the photo album when they meet Mike. um, after the rock fight or whatever. And let's see, Mike, as an adult, sees the footprints and a balloon in the library, which, I was thinking when I was watching it this time, the footprints are just like, they just look like normal sized footprints. It should have, they should have just made them like clown shoe footprints, you know? But, okay, so Vic, one of Henry's friends, sees the deadlights in the sewer, and this is the first time you see the deadlights, I believe, and it kills him there. Henry, Belch, and Stan all see the deadlights come from the pipe, and that's where it takes Belch and kills him. The Losers Club then sees the deadlights while they're in the sewer, and then, he changes into different forms or whatever, trying to scare the kids individually. Like, he turns, like, at the Wolfman claws, hands or whatever, like on Richie's shoulder, and Georgie and Beverly's dad, and et cetera, et cetera. Tries to eat Stanley's face, which I think in the book, this scene here, like, it actually bites Stan's face, whereas in this, he just kind of, opens his mouth and does the teeth thing, like he's about to eat him or whatever, but gets stopped by Eddie. He's like, "This is battery acid, you slime." But yeah, in the book, he gets bitten on the face, so his whole face is like inside of Pennywise's mouth, and it's implied that he may have seen the deadlights while that was happening, because the deadlights, like, the deadlights don't present themselves all the time as just straight up light like they do in this adaptation. A lot of times it's inside of Pennywise's, like, mouth, like, or whatever. So almost like Pennywise is a skin, and the deadlights are wearing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the same thing with the fucking spider monster thing.
Yeah, how, like, they're inside of the spider's, like, stomach or whatever.
Yeah.
And
inside his little belly.
What, Lance?
Inside of his little belly. He's like, coochie.
Get in my belly.
Get in my belly. I asked Savannah, I was like, "Hey, if I shave my beard completely off, like, slick," she goes, "No." I was like, "Is it because I look like the fat bastard from Austin Powers?" And she goes, "No, that was, you just look weird." I'm like, "Because I look like Jabba the Hutt, right?" That's what I said. So,
Misa.
Little does she know, when I talk about shaving, I wasn't talking about my face or my head. I'm just kidding. Anyway,
so
Cody, I shaved my eyebrows for the football game next week.
That's those are all the appearances of Pennywise in the first half of the film, which is the part one of this miniseries. I keep calling it a film; it's a miniseries technically. Then with part two, it'd be Bill sees Pennywise in the cemetery. Richie sees the message on the outside of Paramount Theater showing his, like, birth year and death year. Richie then sees him again in the library. This is the scene we already talked about, where he's up on the balcony and just acting silly. And then, like, there's all these balloons that pop and blood splatters everywhere.
Hey, kudos to those actors. Because if you watch that scene, there's very few of them that actually blink when it happens. There's like one. You see like three of them pop. You see maybe one halfway blink when the blood hits their face, but the other one's like deadpan. And I'm like, it's damn good acting. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that's good. That's good on them, because I think the popping of a balloon would be enough to make me flinch a little bit.
Did it really pop with, like, blood, or was it just like
it's all practical.
It pops and then it cuts, right? And then they already have the blood on their face.
No. When it pops, you see the blood squirt in their face at the same time.
I thought
I've watched a lot of pornos and know that it looks like when it happens.
What they probably did is took a very little amount, and put it in the balloon, right? And then obviously it just maybe rubbed it around on the inside and aired it up, so it would still, like, actually float through the air. And they pop it, and that just makes it kind of go everywhere.
Pop that pussy.
Yeah, that's exactly. Bill and Mike then see Pennywise's image on the back of the playing cards. Ben sees the skeleton. This is a flashback to young Ben seeing the skeleton at the Barrens, in the same place that he originally saw Pennywise, where he showed up as his dad or whatever. Then when Ben gets back in the car to continue into Derry, he sees Pennywise on the side of the road. Eddie talks to Mr. Keene in the pharmacy, and very briefly, it's like Mr. Keene is like possessed by Pennywise, I guess. Which this is a weird one because it's still Mr. Keene in the end of things, so maybe it's just Pennywise making Eddie think that this is happening. Beverly goes to her old house and meets Mrs. Kirsch, who this was always one of my favorite moments when I watched this as a kid. Just this is like one of the few times in this movie that I think it does a good job of like building the tension of the scene, where you think that Mrs. Kirsch is just completely normal, and then it just slowly starts degrading into, she's got dirty ass teeth and there's blood in the teacup, and then she turns into like this weird corpse looking thing.
Yeah.
With a stanky.
Yeah, that was a
pussy.
really good effect. That was one of the times where I think the horror was done very well.
Yeah. Can't wait for you to see that scene in the new one.
When I say stinky ass pussy, I'm telling you,
What?
that's some stinky ass pussy in that new one.
The Losers Club goes to the Chinese restaurant, and they obviously all the different things come out of the fortune cookies: the eyeball, the baby bird.
That was so
the
fucked
spider
up. I was
legs.
like, yeah, I know it's fake, but
Yeah. Henry sees Pennywise projected on the moon, in the psych ward, and then later on, Pennywise shows up as Belch, and that's
also
it.
with
Then
a
kills
dog
him.
head.
Yeah, with a dog head. A clown with a dog head, and then he kills the orderly, or at least we can presume that he kills the orderly. Sorry.
What the fuck? What was the purpose of the dog head?
Just as I guess as a way to freak out the orderly. I mean, him walking out with a fucking clown probably would have been enough, but
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Stan
That might be a little
sees-
nod to Cujo.
Could be, yeah. Stan sees Pennywise in some random house in the woods or the park or something, where he's in the form of a mummy. The Losers Club sees Stan's head in the refrigerator in the library, which is a good scene. I like that scene. And then Audra, is it a gas station attendant that is actually Pennywise or whatever?
Gas station / motel attendant. Like, it's the gas station's part of the motel that has no vacancy. And she pulls up asking where it goes. Don't you want your balloon?
Yeah, and then like he turns into the clown or whatever, or turns into the form of Pennywise and shows the dead lights. I think through his eyes.
Touch my penis. Touch my penis. Don't you? Don't you? Don't you?
Ben later sees it disguised as Beverly. Where as a kid, I thought this scene was funny, where he's making out with what he thinks is Beverly, and it's actually Pennywise. Kiss me, fat boy. And then the final occurrence of it, if you want to call it that, is when the Losers Club goes back into the sewers. They see the paper boat and Georgie. Then they see Pennywise the clown, and finally they see the giant spider, which, as we discussed, is considered to be the closest thing to its true physical form.
Yeah, that was the weakest part of the movie. Right?
Yeah, I mean, the special.
You should have had Curry show up one more time and then do some kind of transformation into that spider.
And again, I don't want to spoil the new ones, but I think they may have tried to like do some stuff with that in the modern ones as a way of like, well, let's try and incorporate like the clown form into this. Again, I don't want to say exactly what it is, but Yeah, I don't think it really works that well there either. But overall as an ending, though, even though like it is a little bit lackluster as far as like the encounter, I still like the whole like they finally defeat Pennywise, or at least they think they defeat Pennywise. There are implications in some of the books that take place after it that maybe Pennywise isn't actually gone, but or at least the cosmic form of Pennywise may still be there.
He did say he's eternal.
Yeah.
So
the idea, the idea that some fans have is that the Losers Club defeats its physical form, and it may take thousands of years before you can take a physical form again, but the dead lights technically are still there beneath the town. It's just that they've made it so weak that it can't do anything. And I'm glad it's left up to interpretation. I don't know if it would work really well if, like, let's say Stephen King wrote another book, and this is like a sequel to it or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, it's still there, like, because it kind of just takes away everything that the Losers Club did.
I just wish the thing that would have been better if Curry had showed up one more time and then transformed in that spider, like.
He shows up. He shows up very briefly. In that last sewer encounter, but
like you see the little apparition on the wall. I'm talking about like Curry confronting them and then turning into that thing. It couldn't look worse than Shao Kahn turning into that Hydra thing in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So just that could have been handled just a little bit differently because Curry was the personality of the movie.
Oh yeah.
So.
How do you feel about the last scene or whatever where he takes his wife? The bike ride with his wife is what fixes her.
It's beautiful. What a beautiful ending. Just sat her on.
I kind of figured she was gonna like get her she was gonna come back around, but if he just wanted to do that, she could have just sat on his pole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's like, remember how small this was? This is small. Okay.
This fixed fucking Mike when he rode on my bike. It's a big old.
Oh my god! I wasn't even thinking that.
Is that? I wonder if that's in like the other versions, like in the novel and the other movies. Like, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Well, you'll see.
Okay.
You talking about her like riding the bike or
well,
whatever?
I mean,
we're talking about Mike riding his bike. You know what I'm saying?
Her getting better, I guess. Her being like fucking dumb and then getting better.
Oh yeah, you'll see when we get there. But yeah, I don't know if I have anything else really to talk about with this movie. I like I said, I think that it's enjoyable enough. I still prefer the modern adaptations over this. Although I do think this is worth watching, especially if you're a Stephen King fan and you've never seen it before. But yeah, would you guys recommend this movie?
In 2 increments, yes. In 1 increment, probably
yes.
not.
Yeah. When Stan commits suicide, that's when you're supposed to stop because that's the end of part 1. So,
everybody loves a happy ending. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What about you, Owen? Would you recommend this movie?
Yeah, I would recommend this. It's a little. I wouldn't really even say all over the place. I mean, I like the overall story and everything. I think the plot is pretty good. It's let down a little bit by some of the budgetary stuff and it being kind of limited to a 2-parter miniseries. You're shoving an over 1,000-page novel into,
3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to lose some stuff. Some shit's going to be rushed. It's not going to be perfect. But, overall, especially compared to some of Stephen King's other film offerings, I find this one to be pretty damn good. So I would give it a watch.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, there are definitely a lot of Stephen King movies that are worse than this, and I mean there are quite a few that are better than this.
Yeah.
So, um, but I
The
think
lack
it's
of
at least top 50% as far as
the
Stephen
Tommy
King
knockers,
movies.
dude.
Like the TV version of The Shining that Stephen King did, it came out a little after this.
Hmm.
Is pretty good. I remember watching it and liking the ending a lot more. It
Yeah,
had
I've
more.
never
I
seen it.
didn't like that one. I thought it was kind of
I liked it
goofy.
because it had a happier ending to it. Because the whole shit. Because you find out later on that's how the book actually ends. Like
Yeah.
with his dad.
Blowing up
Like
the
his
hotel.
dad's not a bad guy. And then when we get to, we're never going to cover it here on the podcast. When we get to, if we ever cover like Doctor Sleep, like when they did the movie, they had to change a bunch of shit because they were trying to make it a sequel to the book The Shining and to Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. So they had to change some shit.
Yeah.
And
Oh
it
yeah,
just made me go,
it becomes a
go
complicated
ahead.
mess whenever you're adapting a film or you're adapting a book that is a sequel to another book, but the original adaptation of that book changed things as it was. So it's like they're having to correct
They were trying to have their cake and
some
eat it too.
things.
They were trying to make a sequel to Stephen King, or not Stephen King, to Stanley Kubrick's Shining, while also, making a movie, yes, about a book, about a
Well, I think,
book that was a sequel to another book.
well, I see the thing is, I think that was the selling point for getting that movie greenlit was like, this is going to be a sequel to the Kubrick's The Shining.
Yeah, I mean,
But he was trying
that's
to do what he could to keep it accurate to the Stephen King book, but also do that. That's the hard part. I don't think they were trying to like do anything dubious. He was just trying to get all three sources put together. And when I watched Doctor Sleep, it made me hate Kubrick's The Shining more because of just parts in it. Was like, okay, this is how it was supposed to be. Like the story would have been a whole lot better. Kubrick just changed that shit because he's a dick and he thought it was going to be a better movie. Like from every account of reading anything about Kubrick, I fucking would not like that person at all.
Yeah.
So
King didn't like any
you
of
know,
his adaptations.
Do what?
King didn't like any of the adaptations he wasn't involved in.
Well, wasn't it? Didn't we'll probably cover The Shining someday, but doesn't it come down to something about how much Stanley Kubrick wanted to change the story or whatever?
well, I mean,
And their
they
final
had things.
their final conversation was like something like Kubrick was on the phone with King and was like, "Do you believe in God or whatever?" And King says yes, and Kubrick's like, "Well, I don't."
And then
hung up
Kubrick
on
shot
or
him
some
in the back
shit.
of the head.
Yeah. He's just like the Splinter Cell. It's been a completely different Stinging King since that point. But no, that is the case. Like I remember reading that, but that was the end of the not collaboration, but him talking to King about certain things because The Shining is 100% supernatural through Stephen King's work, and Doctor Sleep is supernatural too. Whereas Kubrick wanted to go psychological because he didn't believe in supernatural, you know. So it's kind of like that. Of course,
Right.
everybody worships The Shining as some great fucking movie. It's like, yeah, it's a good movie, but fucking
But
everyone that worked on it was
that's
miserable.
weird though because there are supernatural elements in that
Yeah,
movie.
I mean, there's ghosts.
Yeah, I
and
think
shit
that's
in
stuff.
there.
Well, yeah,
And
but
the
that's
Shining,
stuff
the
that he has
Shining
to.
itself is fucking supernatural. Like the Shining
No, I
is
get
a
it,
but
supernatural thing.
I compare it to this.
Stanley Kubrick's
The
an
dude-
idiot.
I don't
Well,
think he was trying
Darren-
to cut that shit out, though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
But
Well,
I
no,
don't
he was-
understand. I guess maybe focus. Sorry, Lance. Maybe focus more on the psychological part of it. But like when you're making a movie based on The Shining, and the name of the movie is literally an element in the fucking story, that is a supernatural element of the story.
Yeah. So let me give you this comparison real quick to try to explain this to you, because you both are atheists and I'm not. Darren Orlowski, the guy who did The Wrestler and Black Swan, is an atheist, but he did the Noah movie with Russell Crowe. And what he said was he made that story into a movie by downplaying everything he could about God, pretty much. Like they reference the creator, and the creatures you see in this movie, these big rock creatures, are called the Watchers. There's literally one reference to them in Genesis, and they're fallen angels, and then they get taken back up to the creator. And he changes a bunch of shit in that story. Like when Noah goes on the ark with his wife, his 3 sons have wives too. Well, there's only one wife for one of the sons, the other 2 don't have it, and it's a whole fucking it's a mess of a movie. When people watch it, say it's like some epic thing. It's a mess because I've read the book. I know what it's supposed to be, but it's like he was changing as much as he could and downplaying God as much as he could. Like Kubrick was downplaying as much as he could of supernatural. Of course, you're gonna have things that are just completely supernatural.
Well, that's where
But
I disagree, because at the end, they like explicitly have, like, why would he put that section in there where he's in the picture at the end, if not to like play at it be having like a supernatural element? Like Jack is in that 1920s picture, like it.
well, see,
Yeah.
Kubrick's interpretation, what he was trying to do, was Jack always there, or like was Jack absorbed into the thing? Like that's a thing on the Wikipedia article. Like well, I guess we'll have to cover that movie at some point. But he has the supernatural stuff, but he doesn't explicitly say it because that's the stuff that's in the book. You can't really take that part out of the story.
Like in
But
the book,
else,
in the book you have the narrator, right? I mean, well, actually, I don't. What is the Shining told in first person or third person? Does it have a narrator?
I think it's third person.
Okay, so you have a narrator, and the narrator obviously is pretty much, the motherfucker's omniscient. He knows everything. So like, there's shit you can do in a book where you can explain stuff like that, and it's not weird, but I think it's interesting to play around with it in a movie. That's my big thing about Stephen King adaptations. I think Stephen King, is a fucking great writer. And I think his books are great. I just think inherently that there's something that is lost when you translate his books to movies. And that if you're trying to do a 1-to-1 adaptation, it's never going to completely hit.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with The Shining, though, and there's a character in The Shining that is there to explain what's going on. At least when it comes to The Shining itself, right? And that's Dick Halloran.
Yeah. The dude with the naked woman picture in this house.
yeah, it's Hong Kong Fooey's. It's Hong Kong Fooey's voice actor.
I can't remember what's the son's name.
He said, "Damn, I gotta wake up."
Danny.
Danny.
Yeah,
Hey, Danny boy.
It's like, because obviously
Danny boy.
Danny also has The Shining, so like you have a character there to explain The Shining, and that's all it takes. Because then you're like, oh, well, the reason why Danny can see ghosts in this fucking hotel is because he has The Shining,
Yeah.
right?
And
Like,
why does Jack see him though? And that's never really
see, Jack
Because Jack's off.
Jack is being negatively influenced by the I don't know, I guess the evil energy or the whatever you want to call it in the hotel. But the reason why, the way that The Shining itself is explained is that it allows people with it to like see the dead and even be able to talk to the dead if they wanted to.
Yeah. So we'll get into it. We'll cover both movies at some point because we're going to run out of other shit to cover. But like I said, I find it entertaining that I know Owen hates this because I mean Owen likes the Kubrick movies and I'm like, it's okay. But a horror movie that cost way less than The Shining that came out the same year completely out fucking drew the Shining at the box office. That was the original Friday the 13th. So I always thought it was like, something cheaply made a whole lot more money than the Kubrick movie. Yeah. And it's just funny because everybody on that movie was fucking miserable. Like, fucking absolutely, like, Kubrick was a complete dick, and he thought, I was like, well, this adds to the quality of the movie and shit like this. Like, no, everybody just fucking hates you, you know? Like, what kind of, like, you don't have to be like...
Oh, yeah, I mean, we'll definitely cover The Shining at some point, because we'll cover The Shining and Doctor Sleep, and then we'll probably cover... at some point, I'd like to cover the 2 Carrie movies that they made.
The one John Carpenter did and then the remake?
Carrie.
Yeah, the remake with... Damn, I can't remember the actress's name now, but whatever. The one from like 2011 or 2012, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll wrap it up. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of Filmoscopy Podcast.
Hey,
if you are listening, what?
We got to talk about the next 2 choices.
No, we don't do that anymore. Remember?
Oh yeah.
No, we were going to do it before we got to the Halloween. Because Halloween, I
Oh,
figured
okay.
when we got to the Halloween series, we were going to release all those back to back to back. But obviously, record in regular schedule. If that makes sense.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So we
So
have
yeah,
like
the
4
next
more movies. Well, we
the
have like
next two
5 more
movies.
movies.
Yeah, because the next two movies will be Lance's
Lance
episodes
Shorts.
back to back. It'll be the DBZ Broly, the Dragon Ball Z
Woo!
Broly movie,
The
and then the Dragon Balls.
1993
Yeah, then the
Japanese
Dragon Ball.
released Dragon Ball Z Broly that was re-recorded in English and released in 2003, which I don't remember it being released in 2003, but I guess it was. So yeah, I'll be excited because Owen, we have somebody here. So me and Cody are big Dragon Ball Z fans, and we completely differ on the iterations of Broly in these 2 movies I'm going to cover. Owen has heard a lot. Kakarot! Owen has watched probably clips of Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
and been told about it. So his best friend is a
All my friends
a fan.
all my friends like Dragon Ball Z, and like most people that I know like it. So I've absorbed a lot through osmosis, but like I've never really
He's never
watched
watched
it.
an episode.
Owen was
So-
a Naruto boy.
I didn't like Naruto either. Well, when I first saw it as a youngin, I kind of liked it, but as I got older,
Youngin.
yeah.
Oh, sorry,
So-
you were a Sailor Moon boy.
No, that was way before my time.
Yeah, Sailor Moon's like old.
but- So we're
At
going
least,
to watch.
at least OG Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
We're going to watch the what do you call it? The Funimation dub with the American music of Dragon Ball Z Broly, which a lot of hardcore anime fans will say it's not accurate to how the script in Japanese plays out, which there's some differences. But Broly's transformation with Pantera's 10 playing is fucking epic. So I was like, we're going to have Owen watch that movie and then follow up with a super movie so he can give his unbiased opinion on which one he likes better, because me and Cody are at odds and we need a tiebreaker. So
Yeah, and then after that, it'll be Owen's movie,
and then the two
Which-
its after that back to back.
back to back. Yeah,
Shit,
I think
chapter
Owen gets
1
another movie,
and shit,
yeah.
chapter
Owen will,
2.
Owen will get another one after that. So
and then I'll get this one. We'll do the whole. We're not doing
we'll go back to normal.
next time on Filmoscopy. Well, we're just gonna be like, all right, everyone, have a great day, have a wonderful time.
Owen, do you have any idea at the moment? I mean, obviously that your choice will be 6 weeks from now. So
Damn.
He's
Yeah.
said something about
I'll
RoboCop 3.
I'll sleep on it. I don't know if we'll do RoboCop
3.
3.
No, I'm joking.
Lord.
We don't have to, Owen. I was making a fucking joke. Buddy. Okay.
I don't
We
know.
can
you're gonna do
Leave it
Running
too.
Man.
Maybe it'd be good just to thrash on it.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, when it gets released on physical media and it's like streaming, I'm definitely covering fucking Predator Badlands. That movie was fucking awesome.
I mean, Owen, if you did end up doing RoboCop 3 at that point, you may as well just go all the way and do the reboot too.
RoboCop.
No, we should just do the whole fucking TV series on Pluto.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Which one, the live action one or the cartoon?
No, the live action, baby.
Both.
The one's like 24 episodes.
We need to watch everything in 2 weeks.
And then hey, here's another thing, Cody. Before we ever cover the Venom movies, one of my episodes is going to be like all 5 episodes of the animated Spider-Man series that has Venom in it. And then before we cover Swamp Thing, we're going to have one that's
Swamp
covering all
Thing.
5 episodes of the Swamp Thing cartoon. You are amazing.
All right. So, yeah, that's what we got coming up in the future. After we get through all those episodes, though, we're going to switch to like a routine where we're not actually going to announce new episodes anymore. Just so it gives us a little bit more freedom to record
Release
things and
movies how we
release
want
things
to.
not necessarily in the order that they were recorded. So it kind of, will help with that. But anyway, if you are listening on Spotify and you enjoy this episode, please share it. Subscribe
Young
if you haven't
Cassie.
already. Leave a comment like with Cassie on the beat, right?
Yeah.
And
young Kazzy.
Please feel free to engage in our arguments as well.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
if you have an
yeah.
opinion,
Takes
let it be known.
take sides.
Kazzy's the one that sits there. He's like very nice about it, but very subtly will just shit on my Venom opinions. So it's cool. You know, that's all right. And then we got somebody on Film Tech, I think, on YouTube that follows us. He's got like 4,000 followers on YouTube. And he follows us and he says, I just comment on the algorithm. Really cool. So anybody out there that wants to comment, and fucking say something. Say, hey, you guys suck. Like that one guy called us mid. So,
That guy's cool.
Yeah.
it's pretty cool, man.
But yeah, if you're listening on YouTube, yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe, smash that subscribe button.
Click
We're
that bell.
like 141 subscribers. You guys are fucking weirdos, and we love you.
Click that
Yeah,
bell.
it's jumped up like 10 subscribers since the last time we recorded. So,
You guys are fucking awesome. Thank y'all.
but thanks for listening, and until next time.
Finish him.
Off.